Honey, I sure am hungry. There's nothing to eat. I don't feel like ordering takeout.
Me too. I wish we were on the macronutrient meal plan by Chef Jarvis that I told you about. Right now, we could be enjoying Chef's 5-star quality, healthy, and delicious meals. They would have been delivered right to our doorstep.
Well, let's go to his website and sign up now. What was his website?
It's chefjarvis.com. ChefJarvis.com.
I'm on the site. Wow, look at this. He says we can eat like royalty every day without lifting a finger, and all of his ingredients are antibiotic, hormone, and GMO-free. Everything is completely gluten and sugar-free. His plan options are a monthly subscription service, so when we register, we'll get food for the entire month. No commitments, no contracts. This is awesome.
See, honey, I told you. We'll save a ton of money and time on grocery shopping and cooking. With the two of us, we get a multi-person discount.
That was quick. Our first delivery will be here tomorrow. I can't wait.
Is this normal? It's probably nothing serious. Maybe I'll feel better tomorrow.
Emergency symptoms can be good at hiding. That's why you shouldn't ignore symptoms like chest pain, high fever, trouble breathing, or severe stomach pain. They could be a medical emergency in disguise. Thankfully, an Eastside ER is ready to serve you 24/7 with fast wait times and dedicated ER experts, so we can quickly help turn your questions into answers. Visit eastsidemedical.com.
Broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio inside the Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. It's time for Gwinnett Business Radio. Gwinnett Business Radio is cared for by Eastside Medical Center, providing quality care to Gwinnett County and the greater Atlanta area for over 38 years.
And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio. We're broadcasting live from the Subaru of Gwinnett studio in the beautiful Sonesta Gwinnett Place Atlanta Hotel. This is the award-winning Gwinnett Business Radio. I made sure I got that in there. Mike Salmon alongside Stephen Julian. Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning. The Support System Award.
That is correct.
We are the Support System Award winner.
We will be bragging about that every single day for the next year.
At least for the next year.
Until somebody else wins the next one.
And then we'll say we're the former award-winning.
Once an award winner, always an award winner.
That's right. They can never take it away.
Our guest on today's show, Audrey Bell-Kearney with PodChix International, and Gifford Pace is here with Fulfillment Strategies International. So two companies with internet. We're Business RadioX International.
Oh, really? Are we changing that?
Yes. Everybody else has got international in the name.
Peer pressure, positive peer pressure of our guests is going to make us change it.
Exactly. Audrey Bell-Kearney. She is the founder, president, chief poopah, everything with PodChix International. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Tell us all about what you do. You're in the podcasting world, so you're in our world. You've got a program, Good Morning Gwinnett. Tell us all the things that you're doing right now.
Well, I've been in podcasts. I've been in media for 16 years, and I started out in regular radio in New Jersey. So I was on 89.3, and I was on 107 point something another, doing radio. And I love this industry. So I moved to Georgia. I was born here in Albany, Georgia. Shout out to
Albany.
Albany, Georgia. Shout out. But I grew up in Newark, New Jersey, and I've been back in Gwinnett for 6 years. And when I came back, I kind of dived into streaming media. Doing internet TV channels. That's how I kind of got back into the whole media thing, and just realized I miss podcasting. So I love podcasting. I've been doing it now, this show, for 1 year next week.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And just love this industry. I think it's a great industry. I had a chance to speak at the She Podcast Conference that was in Atlanta in September, and I'm going to be speaking at PodFest in March. And just love where the industry is going. Like when I first started out, it was just blog talk radio. You remember that?
Right.
Yeah. So
it's come a long way.
Yes. So I started out in blog talk and did about 200 or 300 episodes over there, and then stopped for a while because I realized there's no money in podcasting. And but now the industry has changed a whole lot.
Talk a little bit about the history of you in podcasting, because you said, "Hey, blog talk, remember that." For those listeners that don't remember that, they didn't get involved into podcasting or listening or doing their podcast until the last couple of years. Talk about the origins and how you transitioned to that and what that was like for you.
So when I started out in podcasting, I left regular radio, and at that time, Blog Talk was just coming out, and so it was this whole new thing about, man, you could do this thing that's not in the studio from home, and so you had a call-in number and all that good stuff, so that was great. And as the years went by, a bunch of other platforms started popping up, like Libsyn and now Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is one of my favorites. And Spreaker, I'm actually on Spreaker. That's the one I actually use. I did a talk show host. So these are all podcasting platforms that are out there right now. Libsyn is probably like the big daddy of them all, but in blogs, it was so weird because I started out doing Good Morning Gwinnett on Blog Talk, and it lost like 3 or 4 of my episodes. I was a little upset about that. It just lost them, and they were like, "Oh well, there's nothing we could do." And when I was at Podfest in March, I went straight to Blog Talk to the station. Hey, listen, you lost my episode. They're like, "Don't do Blog Talk," because Spreaker bought Blog Talk. And so Blog Talk kind of started it off, and you could launch a network on Blog Talk and all that good stuff. A lot of celebrities did. I remember Tavis Smiley, he got fired off of regular television, and he launched a network on Blog Talk, which at that time was about $7,000 a month. And so, but he was Tavis Smiley, so he could do that. He could bring on other big dogs, and they could foot the bill. But for the smaller podcasters, it started off as free. And then if you wanted to bump it up, it was $39 a month. And if you want to live stream from your website, it's $249 a month. And that was intriguing for me because I want to do live every day, which people were like, "Are you nuts?" And I was like, "Yeah, pretty much." But then they lost my episode, so I went over to Spreaker.
Man.
So the company you started, that was PodChix International.
Yes.
Helping other women get into podcasting. So tell me about the idea of not just doing it yourself, but wanting to help others break into the business.
So when I was at Podfest in March, I was kind of throwing around this whole name. Like, it was when me and one of my friends, I'm just like, "Yeah, we're the PodChix," And every time I would say it, people were like, "That's a cool name." And I said it about 3 more.
We're the pod dudes over here, then.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's not cool. That's not cool.
And I kept throwing it around, and people kept saying, "That is really nice." And I was like, you know what? Let me go to GoDaddy and buy that real quick. So I went to GoDaddy and registered the name. But then when I got back home, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with this? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to write a book. Because I had written books before. I'm going to write a book about these women that I met. Because I met some amazing women there. And I invited women to be in the book. And they submitted their stories. And there was a little girl there. Her name is Izzy. She's 10 years old. And I was like, she is amazing. She's doing a podcast at 10. So I invited all of them to be a part of the book. So 14 women took me up on that offer. And I wrote the book. So that's how PodChix became PodChix. But as I talked to women and people saw me speak, like I spoke on a cruise ship in September about podcasting, and people started to say to me, "I want a podcast." And I was like, "Yeah, I got this thing called PodChix, had not launched a network yet, and I'm going to teach you how to do that." And people signed up, and I was like, that's how PodChix was born.
You know, Stephen, we know Greg Burkholder. He's the LinkedIn guy.
Yeah.
I think Audrey, we should call her she's the podcast chick.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything you want to know about podcasting, she's the lady.
And she is the leader of the PodChix. By the way, Mike, I apologize. I probably was a little too harsh in my judgment of pod dudes, but maybe pod studs, pod morons. I don't know. We maybe we should put that on Twitter. Amanda can put it on our social media platform and have people. I
like the pod dudes.
Pod dudes. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
like
the pod chick leader thinks pod dudes. So I stand corrected. I
like
apologize.
pod dudes.
So you wrote this book, kind of bringing in other pod chicks
Yes.
to be a part of it. If someone were to read the book, what are they going to get out of?
So first, they're going to get some inspiration from women who've started different walks of life, different reasons why they started. They're going to get that first, and in the back of the book, it actually gives you a walkthrough of how to start. A lot of people they need to be more hands-on. So I do webinars on how to do it, but this coming in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a live class. So you walk in, you're going to walk out with 3 episodes, because people have paid me. Believe it or not, people will pay you and not do the work. They paid me to learn how to do this, and then they have not launched anything, which is kind of crazy. So I'm just helping them really understand this industry and launch. Like, you gotta launch, because it's a powerful industry, especially to any entrepreneur listening to us right now. You know, Steve and Mike do this, like me, almost every day, because we understand how powerful this industry is, especially if you're an entrepreneur trying to get your name out there. Don't pay the money and not do the work. Yes, it's a little bit difficult sometimes, but it's powerful.
Why should some ladies out there that are listening, why should they start a podcast? What are some of the reasons to get involved? You don't want to do one just for the sake because I want to hear myself talk.
That's why I do one.
Well, I got to tell you, I've heard people say it's therapeutic, so that may not be true.
Okay.
So
But what are some good reasons then?
So it's pretty much based on you. For me, it's kind of like I hear myself talk. No, because I get on every morning, Monday through Thursday, and I just talk. It's just me. I don't have any guests until Thursday, and I'm talking about horoscopes. I'm playing music. I'm just having a good time. That's what I do. But for some people, it's a great way to market your business. It's a wonderful way to market your business. Now, here's the thing. You got to put the work in. You cannot get on there and do one episode and think that's going to help you, because it is not.
And there's some prep involved. You can't just wing it.
That's right. You can, but it's going to be a mess, and I've tried, so don't do that.
Okay.
Some people have said it's very therapeutic. Like, they don't want to talk to anybody, just want to get stuff off their chest. So that's another way. Another thing is really meeting great people. So I'm sure you guys have done it this way. You want to listen. There's somebody you want to know, interview them. People like to talk about themselves.
Business RadioX was founded basically on that principle. This is a great way to create relationships around this table. The people that you want to meet and get to know, invite them to come on your show.
That's right.
Let them talk about themselves and the great work they do.
Yep.
They'll appreciate that. What a great way to start a relationship. And sales, that's born from relationships.
That's right.
When people get to talk about themselves for 15 minutes, they always go, "That was a great show," right?
They say that all the time. It was like having a conversation. They tell me that all because we have a conversation, just like we're doing right now. It's like, let's talk about what you do and why you do it and how you started.
Well, to give the secret sauce, Audrey, every single client on Business RadioX, at least the Gwinnett studio, started as a guest. And that's what created the relationship.
Really?
And then they said, I want to know more about what you do.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, if you want to take the next step, they launched their own show.
And, I interviewed someone on my show back in June, I think it was. She came in, she was a therapist, and she was having an event, and she was like, man, can you come and broadcast live? Like, absolutely. So she became a client from being a guest.
So you're charging and you're able to monetize your podcast.
Yes. So I do quite a few different things. Like, do a lot of consulting. I did some live stuff earlier this year where I just took my little microphone. Now, listen, so Business RadioX got a nice setup.
Oh,
they got a nice setup here, guys.
That comes a lot. That means a lot coming from the PodChix
international leader, right? Yeah. The top pod chick out there.
When I show up, I got like my portable microphone, and I'm sitting there, but it works, you know. And I was able to broadcast my throat was killing me for 4 hours straight, just talking to people at this expo. But everybody loved it, and she was so happy.
That's awesome. We've been speaking with Audrey Bell-Kearney. She is the president of PodChix International. She's also the host of Good Morning Gwinnett. By the way, we haven't even talked a lot about the Good Morning Gwinnett. You've talked a little bit about it, but if people want to listen to Good Morning Gwinnett, can they find it on their favorite podcasting platform, just like they can Business Radio?
One of them,
Absolutely.
Even Alexa.
And if you do Good Morning Gwinnett, if they listen, so it sounds like most days it's you being therapeutic to yourself, and I'm sure talking about all things Gwinnett. But talk a little bit about the interviews. Who have you been able? I mean, what are some of who makes a good interview on Good Morning Gwinnett? Let me ask that.
Well,
question.
I got to tell you this, guys. So it's so funny because I tell people, listen, the show is not about politicians, but it is election season. So I have been talking to a bunch of politicians with the same kind of story. But
they're coming out of the woodwork asking, "Hey, can I be on Good Morning Gwinnett?"
Yes, and so I get a chance to talk to them and really see what their views are, because then that lets me know who I need to vote for. You know, so when you sit down to the table, I'm just warning. When you sit down to the table with me, if I don't like what you say, I'm not going to vote for you. I'm just going to tell you that. But I've had I've had the opportunity to talk to a lot of politicians and some entrepreneurs. Like just past Saturday, I hosted an event called Pop-Up Small Business Saturday. And I wanted to give small business owners who work from home the opportunity to take advantage of that whole initiative, because you work from home, so you don't get a chance to have foot traffic coming to you. So we went to the Cornerstone, and we brought foot traffic to those entrepreneurs who work from home. And I did live broadcasts, and I interviewed some of the entrepreneurs that were there. But my sweet spot is really, I'm an entrepreneur, been one for almost 23 years. I'm an inventor and all that good stuff. And so I really love helping a small business owner like you guys get exposure.
Yeah, where have you been all this time?
I came looking for you last year.
Yeah, apparently she came by the studio last year and I wasn't here.
You weren't here.
I was not here.
You were out networking with other businesses.
I was out with the other businesses.
He was getting his car fixed probably.
Audrey,
until he got a Subaru, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Nice.
Like that?
I like that.
Boy, I turned that phrase quickly.
You
Woo,
did.
okay, I can stay.
Our partners appreciate that. Audrey, for those that would like to find out more about what you do and podcasting and maybe want to launch their own, and if they do launch their own, we encourage them to maybe even consider having it on Business RadioX.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a partnership with PodChix International.
I like
but
where
where
this
can
is
people
going.
find out more about your company?
So you can go to PodChix.com. That's more about the organization. If you are a guy, I didn't leave the guys out.
Now, let me just back up a second. PodChix is CHIX.
CHIX.com. I didn't leave the guys out. So there's a networking group that we have called Podcast Posse. So if you want to become a part of the posse, you can go to podcastposse.club.
She's got all the good names.
I know, right? I'm a marketing girl.
Yeah.
You know, so and also I'm doing a live workshop the December the 21st from 10 to 3. It's hands-on. It's very serious about you launching your podcast. You're going to learn about the industry, but you're also going to learn how to launch it. We're going to launch your first 3 episodes right there. And so that's going to be at the Cornerstone also.
Cornerstone Co-working in Lawrenceville.
279 West Krogan Street at the corner of Culver and Krogan, right there on the corner, hence the name Cornerstone. And to find out more about that, you can go to podcaststartup.live. Podcaststartup.live.
And that's December
21st,
2019, because obviously this being a podcast, if you listen after that date,
Then go to PodChix International and find out more
about
places
next
you're
year's.
going to be, right? Yeah.
Right.
All right. Audrey, congratulations on all the success.
Thank you so much.
Continued success, and great to finally meet you.
Well, thank you, Mike and Steve. I'm glad to be here.
All right, Audrey Bell-Kearney with PodChix International here on Business Radio X. And a quick reminder before we go on to our next guest that Gwinnett Business Radio is cared for by Eastside Medical Center. Eastside Medical Center is quality care close to home. They've been a community health care leader for over 39 years, nationally recognized for patient safety. Eastside focuses on delivering quality care with exceptional outcomes by using the most advanced technology and experienced physicians. For more information on Eastside's system of care, visit eastsidemedical.com.
And Mike, before we get to our next guest, I'm also going to remind everybody of one of our main sponsors, our studio sponsor. But before I do that, I want to ask your permission because you are the chief poobah around here, right, Amanda? Yeah, Amanda's nodding vigorously. Can I take your mantle of the bad joke teller for just this show?
Sure, you got a joke to tell?
Well, I just was thinking, because it's the holiday season, and one of my favorite holiday traditions is a good Chex Mix. And so if Audrey did a women's networking event, would that be called a Chex Mix?
Where's the rim shot for that?
Yeah. We don't have that. We lost we lost
Well,
that on the board.
at least you prefaced by saying that was going to be a bad joke, and you delivered.
I did.
You delivered.
I can't wait to see my bonus. Reminding everybody that Gwinnett Business Radio does come to you from the Subaru of Gwinnett Studios. Love is what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Get big savings and enjoy their hassle-free experience. Subaru of Gwinnett, where people sell cars, real people. Visit SubaruofGwinnett.com and join their family today. Come in and see the difference. If you're already a Subaruist, then you need to be using their service center, which is fantastic at Subaru of Gwinnett. You can also follow Subaru of Gwinnett's Facebook page for the latest Subaru offers, news, and community events.
All right, Stephen, our next guest is a friend of Business Radio X, Gifford Pace with Fulfillment Strategies International. Gifford, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Great to see you. For those that don't know, FSI has been, and I think continues to be, it was a sponsor of the Tiffany Crewman Show here on Business Radio X.
Still available on your favorite podcast.
And that has now been moved over to iHeartRadio and so forth, and you're still part of that as well. So you're kind of in the podcasting world as well.
We are.
But Fulfillment Strategies International, FSI, tell us what your company does.
We do inventory management and order fulfillment for consumer product companies.
Okay, unpack that.
No, don't unpack that.
I can do it.
Yes. And Stephen, you are the co-host of the Tiffany Crewman Show.
Gifford and I have been partners along with Seth and Linda and other great people from your company. Can I do that?
Yeah, feel free.
I was going to say, okay.
Just
so
knock it out of the
FSI
park.
is all about logistics. If you are running a product-based business and you are, especially if you're doing shipping yourself, you need to hire a great logistics company. And there's a lot of logistics companies out there. There's no one that has the level of relationship, the level of business interaction, the level of counseling and advice giving like a company like FSI. They will help you turn your shipping into and help your bottom line. They can store as many products or as few products as you want. They are always flexible to work with you in all those different seasons and stages of life of your business. They work with the smallest productpreneur that has just one or two product in their lines. They also work with huge companies and help
Fortune 500.
Fortune 500 companies. How'd I do?
You did pretty good.
All right.
I got a question.
Okay.
Oh my God. So listen, I am an inventor, and I invented this doll in 1999, a plus size fashion doll.
Okay.
They're turning 21 next year, and I wanted to get some shipped in from China.
Yeah.
Right? Scared the daylights out of me because I was like, oh my God, there's so much, there's so much to this whole shipping thing. And I didn't order them.
Right.
So they sent me my quote, they sent me everything I need. And I was like, I have no idea what to do to get them from China this time, because when we first did it, they shipped into LA.
Okay.
And out the dock, and they went on strikes at the dock, by the way.
That's good.
And they sat on the water for like 6 months. But anyway, I wanted to get some dolls shipped in, and I think it was like 3,000 of them. And it was a lot of money, and I was afraid because I'm like, okay, if I send them this money, how do I protect myself if anything happened to those dolls? And I didn't know who to call.
Yeah, that's going to actually work for your freight broker, and those individuals are going to help you get it into the shore. And once they get it into the shore, the question becomes, where are you going to put it?
Right.
And how do you distribute it?
Right.
And that's where we can kind of shine for you from a standpoint of being able to take that inventory and then hook up to your ordering system or your ordering platform, whether that's your website or Amazon or whatever. We'll hook in and get those orders for you, and then be able to fulfill those orders and get those dolls out. So,
Nice.
and whether that goes to an individual that would be ordering the doll, or if you're sending it to maybe a retail outlet that's going to sell, have a shelf full.
Right.
So that's how we can help.
Well, thank you.
I've already gotten them business in this area. From my description
From
of
your description, exactly.
That was good to hear. And Stephen mentioned how you can work with the biggest of the big, and you mentioned some Fortune 500 companies. So you guys are expanding. You have the warehouse capacity.
Oh, yeah, we're expanding. We're actually getting a new warehouse that's going to be in about 5 miles or so from our current location. And we're going to be approaching about 486,000 square feet that we're going to need to fill. So
Can you put that in a number of, because 480
8 football fields.
Okay, so the
8 football fields.
and you just the warehouse you guys currently operate and use
is not 8 football fields.
but it was an upgrade a few years ago.
Oh, yeah,
right?
absolutely. We went from 155,000 square foot warehouse to actually acquiring a second warehouse, which was another 140,000. And then we just filled that up and then said, okay, we've got to consolidate. And we came across this opportunity. And Ken Marbett and Forrest Marbett, the owners of the company, have basically said, yes, let's get this done.
So so definitely there's margin for new clients, right?
We do have some room that we can fill.
And
yes.
you're going to have even more room in the future.
Yes.
What makes a good client for FSI? What are some of the best niches that you guys work in?
The industries that we work in are really well are apparel, automotive, and
That's quite a range just right there.
Yeah.
Everything in between.
Right.
Almost like they have 800,000 square feet or are going to have it.
Yeah, well, actually,
8 football fields,
8
Stephen.
football
Sorry,
fields.
8 football
8 football. Yeah, so.
What happens if I want to import a football field?
Yes,
I can only do 8.
You can only do 8 of them.
Okay.
So, and you're going to have to multiple containers.
He doesn't help with the importing. Once it gets here, they would.
I just don't want you.
Store
I want you to know I'm the king of the bad joke.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you've clearly gotten that crown back. We're talking all over Gifford. Let him talk. Sorry, Gifford.
Nailed it. Okay. So, I mean, other apparels. I mean, there's apparel, there's nutraceuticals, there's automotive.
Subscription-based businesses.
Subscription boxes is another one.
Is there anything you can't do? Is there anything you can't do? That might be the
long
question to
division
ask.
in his head, probably.
Bad jokes?
Yeah.
Other than
I mean,
bad
no,
jokes.
Come on
said
now.
bad jokes.
You're in that arena.
Oh,
You're
am
pretty
I
good.
really?
Yeah, a little
Really?
bit. Yeah. You're not as good as us.
You're right. Yeah.
Or as bad as us.
I don't have as much practice.
So talk, and I think we were going to segue there to a little bit of the pick, pack, and ship.
Right.
Talk a little bit about, because it's more than just taking a product off the
Right.
shelf and sending it out. Talk about what you guys
Well,
do.
I mean, our basic business can be broken down into the business-to-business pick and pack and ship for retailers. That's about a third of our business. That's going to big box stores like Cabela's and Dillard's and Belk and Bed Bath & Beyond and Home Depot and things like that.
And that's when you're talking about putting stuff together to
Yeah.
send to the box store so that they can put it
so
on their
that they
shelves.
can do, the mass distribution. And then we can also sell to what's called e-commerce, which is essentially when you order something, like you want it to arrive at your house and you've got 1 or 2 of them that are arriving, and somebody's got to build that order. The third part is the kitting aspect, where we're putting together like 1,000 kits. They're all the same, right? And they have 1 or 2 or 9 or various components that all come in bulk to somewhere. Well, somebody, not the elves, are going to have to put that together and then either send that out to one location or to thousands of locations, because let's say you had 1,000 client list, a client list of 1,000, kind of thing. Well, if you want to send a gift to them, again, somebody's got to go assemble that, put that together, put the notes in that you send us, that kind of thing.
So the other cool part about their pick, pack, and ship, and again, I've known Gifford for a couple of years.
I feel like I'm interviewing both of you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not on their payroll, but I'm a big fan of what they do. So the pick, pack, and ship, of course, you think about it in terms of shipping for your business, sending stuff out. But you guys have also been a player in some of the large conferences that happen. So you show up and you get a bag with stuff. You guys construct those for people,
Yeah,
right?
again, you look at that as from a kitting standpoint, because it's like, okay, if you're doing a trade show and you want to put pens and paper and tchotchkes in there, in terms of that, again, somebody's got to build that for the person that's putting on the trade show. And we will handle that. We'll handle sales, literature, that kind of thing.
Apart from getting the advantage of your fantastic jokes, what are some of the other advantages someone would get in working with FSI?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about the advantages that they're going to get on a personal level, they're going to get some time back. They're going to get some issues of, they didn't get into the business to pack boxes.
Really?
Yeah.
That was not in their dream.
Most people are not going, I got to pack boxes, or manage inventory. They got into it because they had an idea. They had a way that they said, listen, I think I can change the world because I've got to get this product out. They didn't want to pack boxes. They wanted to develop the relationships. They wanted to, potentially count the money and help people.
Quick question for you. I imagine that being in this industry and work with so many different vendors, that you probably have resources. So if someone came to you and said, hey, Gifford, I need to find a buyer at such and such apparel company, do you provide resources like that?
We can help you, point you in the right direction of that. I mean, it's one of those things where it depends on the client relationships that we have. Some of our folks are saying, look, you don't have to tell anybody that you're doing this for us. We just want that in the background, And again, but we're always trying to network with people. We're always trying to make sure that we're helping people really grow their business. I mean, I'm in a couple of referral network groups. The Atlanta Business Growth Team is one of them. Involved with chambers around town, and so it's always a matter of trying to help people.
Okay.
It's like Audrey's done shows before.
She's asking great questions like a good interviewer
I am
would.
the one that's at the lowest common denominator here, because it's like Steven's done podcasts, you're doing podcasts, Mike, and then Audrey's doing podcasts. It's like I feel inadequate. I need to go get his podcast about maybe a keto.
No, you're not
or
inadequate
something.
at all. You we just talk. You actually deliver stuff.
Wait. You're part of the Tiffany Crewman show. You've been on that show several times.
Sure, yes, I have.
You've been doing the rounds because
Right.
we have another show, Business Infrastructure, that airs here that you did with Alicia.
I did with Alicia.
Yeah, we heard that.
That was awesome.
So I guess you are the lowest to come.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I feel so much better now.
By the way, Tiffany would kill me if I didn't shout out the current podcast we do. It's called Product Genius with Tiffany Crewmans, and FSI is one of the partners, and you get to do the Shark Tank Spotlight, which is really cool because you work with some of the Shark Tank people helping deliver their products.
Right. And we were at SEMA earlier in November, and Grip Mat was there, which was another one of the products that I actually had done the interview with. And so he was there, and so it was kind of like catching up, and it was kind of fun.
So you've done some interviews. All right, so I can't let you leave this studio without asking the question that is my favorite to ask FSI. I've asked it probably 100 times. So logistics is all about delivering the product. Perfection would be 100%.
Yep.
You guys are not perfect, but you're about as close as you can be. What is the delivery? What is the success rate of delivering the products and shipping the products the way the client wants?
We currently are experiencing an accuracy rate of 99.95%.
99.95%. To put it into context, every 10,000 products that go out, somewhere around 5 might have a small issue.
Right.
Yeah. They're not lost like your shows were lost. It might just be it went to the wrong place. And in that, there's also a correction. When you don't have to correct that many mistakes,
right,
you can correct those mistakes fairly well.
Right. Yeah. Basically.
And
I mean, we're going to make sure that the product is sent out and right, and the client is happy.
What's the industry standard for that? Is there? I mean, what are
probably less than 99?
I know it's less than that. So
I
probably
think it's
around
like 98 or so.
Yeah,
97.
So they're double. They're more than twice as good as their average competitor.
I mean, there's 13 metrics that we look at when we're talking about error rates and shipping, and it's like, did the right quantity go out? Did it go out on time?
So that 5 out of 10,000 isn't we lost it. It might be it was a little late.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's pretty darn good.
I'm really starting to think that you're on their payroll.
I need to be.
I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, he's really a fanboy.
It is. I have no problem being a fanboy of FSI.
Would you like
you
Gifford's?
guys are awesome.
Would you like Gifford's autograph after the show?
I have it already.
Okay. Jeez.
I have selfies with him. Yeah.
Gifford,
you
for
got
those
selfies with me?
You didn't know your back was turned. It was
really?
It's a little creepy.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, for those that would like to find out more about Fulfillment Strategies International, Gifford, where can they get the information?
Well, they can reach out to me. I always like to have the conversations with people at 678-391-5980, or feel free to shoot me an email at giffordp@fsi3pl.com, and that 3 is the number. And you can check out our website, too.
I have to ask the reason for the website, the 3 and the PL. What am I missing here?
Well, 3PL is third-party logistics.
Okay.
So that's how it used to be FSIfulfillment.com, and people were like misspelling it.
I've never been able to spell fulfillment.
So they wanted to be effective and quick, and how quick they get to the website.
Right, yeah.
Speed up the time and the ease.
Yeah. You save time with people just going to your website.
Just going to the website.
Wow, you're good.
We try.
Gifford, a business development consultant for Fulfillment Strategies International. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Big thank you to Gifford for joining us, and also again Audrey Bell-Kearney with PodChix International, and our third host today on the show.
It's so hard to say behind. I'm sitting here like I'm a guest today.
Yeah.
Would you be quiet?
But for your startup, on the 21st, I'm going to have to see if I can make that.
Okay.
So.
We've lost total control of the show.
We have.
Yeah.
You know why? It's because we're not international. If we had been, if we were, I think we're going to change the website.
Business RadioX International.
International.
Welcome to Gwinnett Business Radio International. That doesn't
International award winner.
Just Gwinnett International.
I will tell one quick story. I lived for 4 years in Bozeman, Montana. Bozeman is a town of about 40,000 people. It is a college town, but Montana has 6 times the number of elk than they do have the number of people in their state. And the Bozeman Airport was the Bozeman International Airport. It only had 4 gates when I lived there. The reason it was international was they did 1 flight every week to Canada. So because you go to another country, you can call your airport international. So as long as we have one person listening outside the borders, which we do, we have a lot more than one. So we are Business RadioX International.
That's right.
Okay, so you want another trivia?
Yes, Gifford.
Since you brought up Montana?
Yes.
Okay. Montana is the only state that's not on a battleship.
Nice.
Yeah, because battleships are named after states.
Yeah.
They actually haven't had a battleship yet.
Is there a reason why?
No. There's been 2 that has been starting to be built, but they haven't finished
I can tell you
them.
why. Because there's 6 million elk and only 1 million people.
Right, and they're not really close to water.
That's true, too. They are kind of landlocked.
Right.
Is there anything else either of you would like to add? Because we do have to close the show at some point here.
Thank you.
Well, in 1886, no, I'm sorry. All right. There is one thing I need to add. Hard work leads to rewards and opportunities. This business cornerstone is cooked into a career at Waffle House. The recipe is simple. They'll give you the skills to lead a team and take care of customers no matter what your background may be. Then you're off on a great and rewarding career. A career in a place with a family atmosphere that promotes success, inclusion, and a genuine care for customers and teammates. Go to whcareers.com today and learn more about Waffle House.
All right, a reminder, if you like what you're hearing, even if you don't like what you're hearing, go to Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and like us at Gwinnett Radio X. Follow us, all that good stuff. For our producer, Amanda, for Stephen, for our guests, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time here on Gwinnett Business Radio
International.